Welcome, miladies of inestimable value. Forgiveness is a virtue until it feels like letting a snake back into your garden. Here's a fact that might surprise you. Research shows that holding grudges can actually protect your mental health when it means setting boundaries with toxic people. Sigma females, they don't just hold grudges. They turn them into blueprints for personal growth. Forgiveness isn't their default setting, and for good reason. Why let someone play the same trick twice? When someone crosses a Sigma female, it's not tears and drama, it's cold, calculated silence. They don't slam doors, they remove the hinges. Call it petty if you want, but they'd rather be petty than be someone's emotional doormat. So, if you're curious why they don't forgive easily and what they do instead, buckle up. You're about to take a deep dive into the mind of someone who's mastered the art of self-respect like a true ninja. Number 1. Their forgiveness has an expiration date. When it comes to forgiveness, Sigma females don't operate on society's timeline. They believe forgiveness isn't something you can rush, and if you push for it, you're only proving how little you understand them. They might be quiet, but their sense of timing is razor sharp. If someone has hurt them, the clock starts ticking. But it's their clock, not yours. It could take days, months, or even years for them to decide if you're worth forgiving, or if the chapter needs to stay permanently closed. But here's the catch. Waiting too long to make things right is the equivalent of locking yourself out of the relationship for good. Sigma females are masters of emotional inventory. While you're debating whether to apologize, they're filing you away in their irrelevant folder. Once you're in that folder, there's no coming back. To them, forgiveness is like a house. They build it when the foundation feels solid. If you hesitate for too long, the ground beneath you crumbles, and any chance at forgiveness is buried in the rubble. And don't think you can guilt them into speeding up their process. Sigma females don't respond to emotional manipulation. They've seen all the tricks, and they're unimpressed by excuses. If you carelessly waste their time or disrespect their boundaries, you've essentially sealed your fate. Forgiveness isn't just a decision for them, it's a privilege. It has to feel earned, not begged for or demanded. Once the expiration date hits, your chance is gone, and they move forward with a clean slate without you on it. Their ability to walk away without flinching isn't cruelty, it's clarity. They've decided that their peace is far more valuable than reopening a door that should have stayed shut. Number 2. They burn bridges like artists, create masterpieces. When a Sigma female decides it's time to walk away, it's not just an exit, it's an art form. They don't announce their departure or throw dramatic ultimatums into the air. They simply step back and watch the bridge burn like a perfectly crafted masterpiece. Every move they make is deliberate, every silence calculated. They're not fueled by rage or the need to prove a point. In fact, they'll often walk away so quietly, you might not even realize they're gone until the flames are already licking at the foundation. What sets them apart is their refusal to participate in the chaos. To them, engaging in emotional debates or trying to untangle the mess someone else created is a waste of energy. They don't see the point in patching up something that was destined to collapse. Instead, they channel their focus inward, protecting their peace like it's a sacred treasure. Rebuilding bridges for people who torched them isn't on their to-do list. It's their way of saying, you made your choice and so did I. This isn't about revenge or bitterness, it's about clarity. They see betrayal for what it is, a line crossed that can't be uncrossed. Once they've detached, the bridge isn't just burnt, it's ashes scattered to the wind. They have no interest in salvaging relationships that compromise their well-being. For them, burning bridges isn't an act of destruction, it's an act of liberation. They're not destroying connections, they're creating space for better, healthier ones. And if that sounds cold, it's because they've learned that sometimes peace requires fire. Number 3. Forgiveness comes with a price tag. For a Sigma female, forgiveness isn't something you can buy with a simple "I'm sorry." Words might sound nice, but they don't pay the emotional debt you've racked up. To earn forgiveness, you'll need to show receipts, proof that you've taken responsibility for your actions and made tangible changes. Apologies without follow-through are just noise to them, and they've got no time for empty gestures. They treat forgiveness like an investment, not a giveaway. If you want it, you need to bring something to the table. Accountability, consistency, and a genuine effort to rebuild trust. They don't believe in forgive and forget because forgetting would mean leaving themselves open to the same mistake. Forgiveness without accountability in their eyes is like handing someone a blank check and hoping they won't cash it. It's too risky, and they don't gamble with their peace of mind. When a Sigma female forgives, it's a calculated decision, not an emotional one. It's not about letting you off the hook. It's about reclaiming their energy and setting new boundaries. But if you think you can skate by with some heartfelt words and no real action, think again. They'll see through you faster than you can say, "I'll do better." And here's the kicker. Even if they do forgive you, it doesn't mean you get your old spot back in their life. Forgiveness to them is about closure, not reconnection. You might get a clean slate, but that doesn't mean the walls are coming down. So if you're not ready to step up and show you're worth their time and energy, don't expect them to hand over their forgiveness like a free pass. They've got standards, and those don't bend for anyone. Number 4. Their forgiveness is transactional, not emotional. When a Sigma female forgives, it's not the heartfelt, tear-filled reconciliation scene you're imagining. They don't forgive because you deserve it, or because they're hoping to rekindle the relationship. No. Their forgiveness is purely transactional. It's about freeing themselves from the emotional weight you've left behind. If they forgive you, it's not for your sake. It's for theirs. To them, forgiveness is like paying off a bad debt. They're not doing it because the lender suddenly became likable. They're doing it to clear their emotional credit score. They forgive to cut the tie cleanly, ensuring there's no lingering negativity or unresolved baggage holding them back. But don't mistake their forgiveness for an open door. Just because they've let go of the grudge doesn't mean they've let you back into their life. Forgiveness for a Sigma female is closure with a purpose. It's not about giving you a second chance. It's about taking back their power. They've mastered the art of detachment, and their forgiveness is often the final step in that process. It's their way of saying, "I've moved on, and you no longer have any control over my thoughts or emotions." Don't expect forgiveness to come with an invitation to reconnect. Sigma females forgive to close the book, not to write a sequel. You may think you're getting a clean slate, but in reality, you're being quietly erased from their narrative. Forgiveness to them is the ultimate act of self-respect, not a gift to you, but a liberation for themselves. Number 5, they don't hate, they erase. Sigma females don't waste their energy on hate. It's too messy, too consuming, and frankly, too beneath them. To hate someone, you have to let them live rent-free in your mind. And Sigma females aren't in the business of providing free housing. When someone crosses them, they don't stew in anger or plot revenge. They simply erase the person, mentally and emotionally, as if they were never there in the first place. It's not about being cold or cruel. It's about efficiency. Why waste time on someone who's proven they don't deserve a spot in your life? Instead of dragging around the emotional baggage of resentment, Sigma females cut the cord entirely. No bitterness, no drama, just a clean deletion. It's almost eerie how quickly they can detach. One day, you're a chapter in their story, the next, you're not even a footnote. This isn't an act of malice, it's a form of self-preservation. By erasing someone, they reclaim their peace, their focus, and their energy. They understand that hate ties you to the person you despise, creating a toxic loop of negativity. Sigma females don't have time for that. They prefer to channel their energy into their goals, passions, and the people who actually matter. And the best part? You'll never see it coming. They don't make a scene or announce their decision. They'll still be polite if they see you, but behind the scenes you've been erased, archived, and forgotten. To them, it's not about winning or losing, it's about removing anything that disrupts their harmony. Call it harsh if you want, but it's how they thrive. Erasure is their way of saying, "You're not worth my time, my energy, or my hate." Number 6, second chances are for lottery tickets, not people. For Sigma females, trust is a one-time offer. If you break it, don't expect a do-over. To them, second chances aren't acts of kindness. They're risky bets, and Sigma females don't gamble, especially not with their emotional well-being. Giving someone a second chance feels like playing the lottery. The odds are stacked against you and the house almost always wins. Why would they willingly risk the peace and stability they've built for someone who already proved they could mess it up? When trust is shattered, Sigma females don't sit around hoping the person will change. They believe actions speak louder than promises, and in their eyes, if someone cared enough, they wouldn't have betrayed them in the first place. Once the damage is done, the relationship isn't just cracked, it's permanently broken. They won't try to glue it back together because they know it will never be as strong as it once was. This isn't about being unforgiving or harsh. It's about self-respect. Sigma females understand the value of their time and energy. They've worked hard to create a life of independence and stability, and they won't let anyone jeopardize that. Giving someone a second chance feels like inviting the same disaster twice, and they'd rather be alone than take that risk. To them, trust is binary. You're either in their circle or you're out. There's no middle ground, no probation period, and no winning your way back in. Once you lose their trust, you've lost the game, and they won't look back. Second chances might work for scratch-offs, but when it comes to relationships, Sigma females don't gamble with their hearts. Number 7. They redefine forgiveness as letting go without letting in. Sigma females have their own definition of forgiveness, and it's far from what most people expect. For them, forgiving someone doesn't mean rekindling the relationship or giving second chances. It means cutting the emotional cord and walking away lighter without ever opening the door again. They're not interested in reliving the past or pretending like nothing happened. Forgiveness to them is purely an internal process, one that's designed to free themselves, not to comfort anyone else. When someone hurts a Sigma female, she doesn't dwell on revenge or anger. That takes too much energy, and energy is something she guards fiercely. Instead, she focuses on letting go of the emotional weight the person brought into her life. By doing so, she reclaims her peace and mental clarity. But don't mistake this release for a chance to come back into her world. Forgiveness, in her mind, doesn't include reconciliation. It's about closure, not an invitation. What makes this approach so powerful is the finality of it. When a Sigma female forgives, it's not a temporary patch on the relationship. It's the final step before she locks the door and throws away the key. There's no room for maybe someday or let's try again. To her, letting go is freedom, but letting someone back in is a risk she's not willing to take. This mindset isn't about being cruel. It's about being wise. She knows that letting the wrong person back into her life would only invite the same pain all over again. So, while she might forgive, she does so on her own terms, quietly, confidently, and with the kind of resolve that leaves no space for regrets. For a Sigma female, forgiveness isn't a bridge, it's the closure of a chapter. Number 8, they outsource closure to the universe. Sigma females understand that closure isn't something you can demand or chase. It's something that comes naturally with time. To them, running after closure is like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands, exhausting and pointless. They've realized that some people will never give the apology they deserve, and some situations will never offer the neat, satisfying ending they hoped for. Instead of getting stuck in the endless loop of why and what if, they outsource closure to the universe and focus on moving forward. Time, karma, and their own inner strength become their tools for healing. They don't waste their energy trying to extract explanations or apologies from people who've wronged them. Why? Because they know that real closure doesn't come from words. It comes from letting go. And they let go like pros, shedding emotional baggage as if it were last season's trends. They trust that karma has its own way of balancing the scales, and they don't need to stick around to see it play out. Their resilience is what truly sets them apart. Instead of waiting for someone else to grant them peace, they create it for themselves. They take the pain, the betrayal, or the disappointment and turn it into a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. This isn't about being passive or indifferent. It's about reclaiming their power and refusing to let anyone else dictate their healing process. For a Sigma female, closure is less about answers and more about acceptance. They accept that some chapters won't have a clean ending, and that's okay. They know the universe will handle the details while they focus on writing their next, better chapter. It's a quiet, confident way of moving on that says, I don't need closure. I am the closure. Number 9. They treat betrayals like business deals gone bad. For a Sigma female, betrayal isn't some emotional meltdown, it's a failed transaction. When someone breaks their trust, it's not about feelings of hurt or anger. Instead, they view it like a business deal gone wrong. You made a promise, you didn't deliver, and now the contract is null and void. There's no personal vendetta, no emotional drama. It's just a simple, cold evaluation of trust as an asset that's been mismanaged. Once the trust is broken, the relationship doesn't hold the same value anymore. A Sigma female doesn't carry grudges, but she also doesn't stick around to get burned twice. She's not in the business of recycling failed ventures. If you're proven to be unreliable, you're effectively blacklisted, just like a company that's proven itself to be a bad investment. There's no time wasted on trying to fix something that was never stable in the first place. This approach is as pragmatic as it gets. She doesn't get emotionally tangled in the why or how of the betrayal. Instead, it's a simple matter of risk management. She knows the cost of trust and isn't willing to keep investing in something that's already shown it doesn't yield returns. And don't expect her to keep coming back for a second chance. In her eyes, once you've proven yourself untrustworthy, you're out of the business. It's not personal, it's just good sense. The Sigma female doesn't waste energy trying to fix what's beyond repair. She moves on, businesslike, leaving behind those who couldn't meet her standards, knowing her emotional resources are far too valuable to keep invested in failed ventures. Number 10. Apologies are just noise without change. For a Sigma female, apologies without action are nothing more than empty noise. She's heard the "I'm sorry" 1,000 times before, and it's always the same. Words that sound good in the moment but carry no weight when followed by the same patterns of behavior. For her, an apology is just a band-aid on a wound that's never fully healed, unless it's backed by real, consistent change. She's not moved by the theatrics or the pleading. She understands that anyone can say sorry, but not everyone can prove they're sorry through their actions. To her, it's simple. If you say you're sorry but keep doing the same thing, you're not sorry. You're just trying to buy time or avoid the consequences. She values authenticity, and that means you need to show up with the behavior to match the apology. She won't stick around for endless promises or emotional manipulation. Words are easy, but actions require effort, and Sigma females only respect those who are willing to put in the work. If you don't change your behavior, she'll assume the apology was just a tactic to calm things down, not a genuine attempt to fix things. In her world, words are just noise, and only actions can be heard loud enough to matter. So if you want to earn a Sigma female's trust back, stop apologizing and start proving you're different. Until then, you're just wasting your breath and she's moving on to better things. At the end of the day, Sigma females don't do forgiveness in the conventional way, and that's what makes them so extraordinary. They're not interested in empty words or recycled promises. They understand that real growth comes from actions, not apologies, and they aren't afraid to walk away when trust is broken. To them, forgiveness isn't about reconciling. It's about reclaiming their peace and strength. It's a quiet, powerful, and self-assured approach that ensures they remain the architects of their own happiness. The Sigma female doesn't hold grudges, but she doesn't waste time rebuilding what's been torn down. Instead, she erases the past, moves forward with grace, and lets the universe handle the rest. In her world, second chances are reserved for rare moments of true change, not repeated mistakes. When she forgives, it's a transaction, not a favor. And if you've crossed her, you're either learning to earn your way back through actions, or you're out of the picture entirely. To a Sigma female, forgiveness isn't weakness. It's a way to rise above, to cut through the noise, and to show the world that she controls her narrative. She doesn't chase closure, and she doesn't beg for change. Instead, she lets time and her own resilience handle the details, moving on stronger and more focused than ever. In the end, it's not about forgiving others, it's about protecting her peace, and that in itself is the ultimate act of self-love. If you've made it this far, you're clearly someone who values depth, authenticity, and the kind of insights that don't just skim the surface. So if you're ready to dive deeper into the world of Sigma females, uncover more game-changing perspectives, and challenge the status quo, this is the place for you. Hit that subscribe button and join a community that isn't about following the crowd, but about embracing the extraordinary. Don't miss out on what's coming next, because trust me, you won't want to. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and let's continue this journey together. Thanks for watching, my ladies. See you in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.